This month we've been doing streams around Trenchtober, and one of the most fun parts about streaming is getting to share my process and thoughts while creating, getting people involved and letting chat decide where the drawing goes. And this design is in a big part thanks to some of the chatters like Al, Nee, and Notice, a few more. This video was heavily inspired by Woolydroid. I felt like drawing my vampire redesign, or something inspired by vampires, as it's fair to say I get a lot of messages and have had a lot of ideas in the theme of vampires, something that is already kind of in the world in the form of the nuclear. Last video I spoke about how they take a more vampire-like shape. However, I wanted to take this chance to make something a bit more obscure, weird, and alien, as every prompt for Trenchtober is a prompt I'm using to develop the shards, with a dark fantasy approach being the focus. To start off with this design, I couldn't decide how I wanted it to be shaped, whether I'd want it to stand almost looking unbalanced and odd, or be more vertical and less horizontal. I ended up deciding maybe we should draw it from the side. Instead of drawing this thing accurately from the side, led me to think of it in a new shape. And the best part about these streams is allowing myself to be more open as an artist with the designs that don't work. And concept 1 just didn't click for me. The idea was there, and the shape was okay, but it just didn't look right. And thanks to some chatters, Nee, who pointed it out, it also looked rather rude. So I figured, let's do a little bit of reworking and redesigning in the morning. With a bit of rest and a clear head, I came up with something looked a lot more like something I'd like in the world of Barren. These striking almost shapes that are a mix of bug and alien, with spines and all manner of odd, looking parts, whilst keeping that original idea of that tentacle face being the center of this creature, this giant. I found myself wanting to give these things somewhat of a wing. Maybe storytellers or tales say these things can take flight, almost unimaginably so, as their scale is so large it seems almost impossible. I also at this point, and it's why it's my favorite part of drawing personally, love messing with textures. I started messing around with the idea of maybe their skin featuring holes and being somewhat off-putting due to that, as that is a common phobia. But I later decided against this. I then followed up by adding the true jellyfish face, which was in use of an old piece of art I made in my first video back about dark fantasy. I wanted this thing to look eldritch and Dark Souls in tone, something that was unique and odd, alien. Once that was all done, it was simply about adding that outer shell and making this thing look strong and powerful enough to carry its own weight, whilst also looking disgusting and gross. Since I've started doing these streams in the week, I've really enjoyed and wanted to share my thoughts while designing more. But what inspired this design? The initial thing that popped in my mind was those little spider freaks in Dark Souls 3 that crawl on the ground. I've always loved that design, the way they move, the way they're shaped. They're so off-putting and odd, and such a good, unique take on such a common trope, such as spiders. I also love Eldritch-influenced content, and whether or not people believe me here, I have never played Morrowind, even though I have had many designs compared to things from Morrowind. I do think it is a game that has a great style that I would probably enjoy. I wanted something that was formidable and of a boss-like scale, something that you wouldn't be surprised featuring in a Dark Souls game, as the Shard's main inspiration for me personally is a more dark fantasy approach, old school Dark Souls 1 meets post-apocalyptic. This landscape of oddities and hellish nature that is beyond anything you can imagine. Now, drawing that is not easy, and I'm sure this design might change or maybe will be redesigned in the future. But I had a really fun time this week drawing it and chatting on stream about the process. Postilions seem to call these things Alseers. Apparently they can control minds and cause visions. It's not really sure or known what made them. They don't appear to be made from a lab or failed experiments, and mystery surrounds them. Their shape is odd, almost fish-like, with this face that could be described as a squid, and this body that is almost tentacle-like. However, outside of their appearance and what many describe as a behemoth, very little is known on what they do. Many wonder how something this large could thrive and survive in something as hostile as the Shards. What does it eat? And there's no stories, or at least true stories, of those that have truly come into contact with these things. Some claim these things cause what some call Sherman's disease, a disease where one returns back from Shards wandering, a mind lost, just wandering. I really hope you enjoyed that more design-focused video, and based on how this one does, I will judge whether that is something to move forward doing. I normally like taking an approach in my videos of focusing on lore first and design second, as I'm not sure what people like more. So feel free to comment down below if you prefer this or my other more usual style of video. Nonetheless, if you did enjoy this and you would like to join in next time, pop by on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at any point in the stream and have a chat. I will either stream at 8 PM UK time or 2 PM UK time in the morning. The streams are a blast, and I have really been having fun making things together. We did a really fun stream recently that was one of my favorites, where we designed cartoon characters as if they were in Barren, and I wanted to put this message out there in case this video does really well, that if anyone does know an animator, or maybe someone that is more experienced in this department, if they would like to, I would love to make something in Barren akin to the Fallout animations, except in my world, these would be post-war productions about the modern day, the old boy discussing the past and history, the warbird discussing war and battle, the Zaja representing the modern day evil, and the Bulwark representing the kind soul, the adventurer, you, naive and sweet, but too kind. Anyway, I really, really hope you enjoyed that, and I want to say thank you as always for supporting, leaving a comment, or subscribing. If you are interested in supporting this channel further, I will be putting the Patreon down below, and I'm excited to say that soon I will be able to make memberships a thing on this channel. And I'm thinking of making it so that you can become a member and get one full extra video every month for something like $2. Anyway, I really had fun with this, and I hope to catch you on one of those streams. Thank you.